About 2 years ago, we noticed that some of our patients were struggling to communicate with us. Those patients have tracheostomies in situ. Tracheostomies are breathing tubes that are placed below the level of vocal cords. That means the patient cannot vocalise or make a sound. All we can resort to is trying to lip read these patients. It's clearly frustrating for both them, us, and their family when this occurs. I resorted to Googling for lip reading apps in frustration one night, and I found Leopa, who are a Belfast company, who are developing software to be able to do lip reading. They have worked with us to develop a app that's based on machine learning that gets the patient to speak a phrase, which is then interpreted by a server in the cloud, and then is translated into that phrase, which is then put back on the phone. At the moment, we're in the preliminary stages of developing the application. We look for funding opportunities to be able to develop the project further. The Department of Trade and Industry have an offshoot called Innovate UK, and they funded us a significant amount of money to help develop a prototype that we've trialled successfully on the critical care unit and shows very exciting results. We're hoping over the next year or two to develop a much bigger project, which we can then spread out to other hospitals and critical care units across the region with the similar kind of patients, but potentially with other patients that may benefit, stroke patients, some other patients with motor neuron disease or other neurological disease. We don't know at the moment, but we think that from what we've done, our patients find it very, very beneficial. We think it's a very exciting project in that it allows our patients to tell us what they want and don't want, allows relatives to communicate with those patients, and allows the patients to feel much more in control of their own treatment.
Truth Peace Kids. Next up for AI, learn how to read your lips, man. Peep the slang. A patient sits in the hospital bed, a bandage covering his neck with a small opening for tracheostomy tube that supplies him with oxygen. Because of his recent surgery, the man featured in this market video can't vocalize, so a doctor holds up a smartphone and records the patient as he mouths a short phrase. An app called Sravi, Sravi, analyzes the lip movements and in about 2 seconds returns interpretation. I need suction. It seems like a simple interaction. Man, peep the slang. And in some respect, Sravi, Sravi, speech recognition app for the voice impaired, is still pretty simplistic. It can only recognize a few dozen phrases, and it does that with about 90% accuracy. But the app, which is made by the Irish startup Lipia, represents a massive breakthrough in the field of visual speech recognition, VSR, which involves training AI to read lips without any audio input. Peep the slang. It will likely to be the first lip reading AI app available for public purchase. Researchers have been working for decades to teach computers to lip read, but it's a proven challenging task, even with the advances in deep learning systems that have helped crack other landmark problems. The research has been driven by a wide array of possible commercial applications, from surveillance tools to silent communicated apps and improved virtual assistant performance. Man, peep the slang. Lipia is in the process of certifying Sravi, Sravi, as a Class 1 medical device in Europe, and the company hopes to complete the certification by August, which allow it to begin selling to healthcare providers. Man, peep the slang. While their interactions for the technology aren't clear, many of the tech giants are also working on lip reading AI. Scientists affiliated with or working directly for Google, Huawei, Samsung, and Sony are all researchers VSR systems and appear to be making rapid advances, according to interviews and Motherboard's review of recently published research and patent applications. The companies either didn't respond or decline interviews for this story. As lip reading AI emerges as a viable commercial product, technologists and privacy watchdogs are increasingly worried about how it's being developed and how it may one day be developed. Swabi, for example, is not the only application of lip reading AI that Liopa is working on. The company is also in phase 2 of a project with a UK Defense Research Agency to develop a tool that will allow law enforcement agencies to search through silent CCTV footage and identify when people say certain keywords. Man, peep the slang. Let me read that again. UK Defense Research Agency developed a tool that would allow law enforcement agencies to search through silent CCTV footage and identify when people say certain keywords. Man, peep the slang. Surveillance company Motorola Solution has a patent for a lip reading system designed to aid police. Skylark Labs, a startup whose founder has ties to the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, told Motherboard that its lip reading system is currently deployed in private homes and a state-controlled power company in India to detect foul and abusive language. Man, peep the slang. This is one of those areas, from my perspective, is a good example of just because we can do it doesn't mean we should. Fraser Sampson, the UK's biometric and surveillance camera commissioner, told Motherboard, my principal concern in this area wouldn't necessarily be what the technology could do and what it couldn't do. It would be the chilling effect of people believing it could do what it says. If that then deterred them from speaking in public, then we're in a much bigger area than simply privacy, and privacy is big enough. The emergence of lip reading AI is reminiscent of facial recognition technology, which was a niche area of research for decades before it was quietly but rapidly commercialized as a surveillance tool beginning in the early 2000s. Man, peep the slang. You're going to see the video too.